Welcome to Motivational Monday, guys. I want to continue kind of talking about Agmendino as the greatest salesman in the world. Remember, this is not a book on selling and closing. This is a book on principles that shape your thinking, that guide your actions, that create your results in life, right? And last week we learned about Agmendino in this book and how he came to be in my life. And I'd like to go through the scroll 1 with you today, which is the scroll of habits. Some people say the scroll is, today I begin a new life. I like to call it, I will form good habits and become their slave. Now listen, this first scroll is the foundational scroll because it says that our life springs from our habits. What we do repeatedly determines our life, right? And this is not new thinking. Solomon said this. He said years ago, he said, a man who lacks discipline is like a city with its walls torn down, right? What did he mean? He meant if you don't have the right habits. In those days, of course, 3,000 years ago, no wall in the city meant you will be overtaken by anything. And so Solomon was saying that good habits are important. Discipline is important. And I'd like to read from you the book from Agmendino's book about good habits. And I'd like to talk to you about what we should do about this principle, how we should incorporate this principle in our life. Does that make sense? All right, so I'm going to read from you. This says, in truth, the difference between those who have failed and those who have succeeded lies in the difference of their habits. Now, this next line is one of my favorite. Good habits are the key to success. Bad habits are the unlocked door to failure. Right? We all know that, isn't it? Thus, but first law I will obey, which precedes all others, I will form good habits and become their slave. Right? As a child, I was a slave to my impulses. Now I'm a slave to my habits, are all grown men. I've surrendered my free will to the years of accumulated habits, and the past deeds of my life have already marked out a path which threatens to imprison my future. Right? Therefore, if I must be a slave to habit, let me be a slave to good habits. Right? And my habits must be destroyed to make new furrows and prepared for good seed. Here's what I'm saying, guys. Here's what this is saying. That your good habits are creating your success, right? And these are the things that contribute to your life of excellence, you being a benefit to others, right? Then there's other things in our lives that we would say, these habits are stealing from my excellence, stealing from my life, stealing from my ability to be a benefit for others, right? And then there's some other habits that I might want to recognize, say, these are good habits I wish I had. These habits, if I had them, would do what? Would add to, would increase my excellence, would increase my ability to be a benefit to others, right? Guys, scroll number 1 teaches us this most important principle. It says, our habits, what we do repeatedly, determine who we are and our outcome of our life. So, what do we need to do, guys? I would highly recommend that you do the old Ben Franklin close right on yourself. You take a piece of paper, and let's turn it sideways and divide it into 3 columns. And the first column might be good habits. The second column might be bad habits. And the third column might be new habits. And so in the first column, I might go down and look and say, here's the habits I have that are really good, that are helping me succeed, helping me live excellently and be a benefit to others. And in the middle column, I might list some of the things that I think are draining energy and draining excellence from my life, hurting my ability to be a benefit to others. And in the third column, guys, I might go ahead and do this. I might start listing some things that I wish I was doing, some habits I wish I had, and start talking about how to put those in my life, right? Guys, we're going to talk more about habits as we go, but you know that we're looking for habits of mind, body, and spirit, right? We are talking about habits at work in terms of your professional life, following the process of learning something new every day, right? There's some habits at work, but there's a lot of personal habits that roll right into our professional life. That's where I would start, right? Do you go to bed and wake up on time? Do you exercise? Are you learning daily? Are you refueling your mind and your spirit daily? These are habits that I would take a look at first. They're foundational habits, guys. And then I'd work my way through my day and take a look at, and you can use that scale of a mind, body, spirit. The Y has been doing that forever. But you can also use relational and professional areas of your life. Not just spiritual, mental, and physical, but relational and spiritual, relational and professional, to go through your life and figure out ways, what areas did I do well, what areas do I have to change, and what areas can I add? Guys, our goal is to inspire you to become students of excellence. And we believe this book and reading this book, focusing on scroll 1, Forming good habits will take you there, right? Good selling.